The Rebuild Illinois Fast Track cash draws from the grantee reporting system will be handled by your grant manager. Cash requests should be timed to be in accordance with the actual cash requirements of the grantee in carrying out the purpose of the project. The amount of cash request should be for the actual expense amount disbursed by the grantee. Payments to the grantee are subject to the grantee's submission and certification of eligible costs and any documentation as required by the department. The grantee will complete and have signed by the authorized official an expenditure summary and payment request form. This form, along with the supporting documentation and partial lien waivers, should be sent to your grant manager. Payment will be initiated by your grant manager upon approval of eligible costs and cash amount requested for reimbursement of these costs. Once approved, the grant manager will electronically submit a request for the grant funds, and the grantee can expect the state comptroller to issue payment within 10 business days. The expenditure summary and payment request form and instructions will be sent to the grantee with the executed grant agreement. Cash requests must be supported by the source documentation that demonstrates allowable expense and the payment verification of those expenses. Source documentation can include, but is not limited to, canceled checks, bank statements, invoices, approved pay estimates, and contract invoices. Remember, you must provide documentation to support both the expense and the payment verification of the expense. Also, please remember to include your partial lien waiver. The department is required to document the use of awarded grant funds and the grantee's compliance with statutory and regulatory requirements. One of the ways we do this is by collecting quarterly financial and performance reports. This one report gives the department a quarterly checkup on the financial and performance health of your project. The periodic financial and periodic performance report forms will be sent to the grantee with the executed grant agreement. The department views these two forms with supporting documentation as one quarterly report document. Both the PFR and the PPR are due quarterly, and both are due as a final report at closeout. The PFR must accurately disclose expenditures for the reporting period. For the expenses being reported on the PFR, you will submit copies of the expenditure summary and cash request forms and supporting documentation that you sent to your grant manager during the reporting period. To fill in the top portion of the PFR and the PPR, please use the information found in your grant agreement. The grantee name, grant number, CSFA, which is Catalog of State Financial Assistance, FEAN, DUNS, agreement period, are all found between pages 1 and 2 of the grant agreement. Please use the correct program name, for example, Rebuild Illinois Fast Track. The report period is the quarterly time frame you are reporting information on. The CFDA, or Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance, does not apply to the Rebuild Illinois programs. On the PFR, there should be no indirect cost, there should be no program restriction, there should be no mandatory match. If in Exhibit B of your grant agreement, other funds are listed to complete the project, please list the source of the other funds in cell S, specify match. In cell X and Y, please fill in the category and approved budget amount from Exhibit B of the grant agreement. If you are reporting expenses, please list those expenses under current period grant expense, which falls under cell Z. If you are reporting a match or other fund amount, please list it as either cash or in kind, and then list the total match or other fund amount applied to date under cells AA and cells BB. Please remember expenses are reported in the quarter in which they are requested in the grantee reporting system by your grant manager. You may have multiple cash requests in one quarter, or you may have none. The second page of the PFR needs to be signed by the authorized official or the designee as indicated in the grant agreement. On the PFR, cell 14, deliverable is from Exhibit B of the grant agreement. For example, 1210 construction. Cell 15, due date, is the end date of the grant. Cell 16, date completed, is the end date of the quarter or a specific date in that quarter in which an activity was completed. Cell 17, deliverable explanation, such as project is on schedule, or report something specific like opened bids. Cell 18 can be found in Exhibit E. Cell 19 should be end of the grant. Cell 20 will be blank until the final report. On page 2 of the PPR, please complete cell 22 and cell 23. The PPR needs to be signed by the authorized official or the designee as indicated in the grant agreement. Please reach out to your grant manager if you have any questions or problems completing these forms. Thank you.